Hello children. In this video, I am going to explain you about the high courts and subordinate courts in India. The Constitution of India provides for a high court for each state. However, the parliament may by law establish a common high court for two or more states and a union territory. At present, Punjab, Haryana, and Chandigarh have a common High Court. Besides this, there is common High Court for 7 states: Assam, Nagaland, Manipur, Tripura, Meghalaya, Arunachal Pradesh, and Mizoram. These are the 7 sisters. In all, there are 25 high courts in India which are at work at the state level. They are next only to the Supreme Court of India. As I told you before, that in India we have single, unified, integrated judiciary. Now I will discuss about the composition, the qualifications, and method of appointment of the judges of High Court. Let's begin. The composition. The High Court of a state consists of a Chief Justice and such other judges as the Parliament of India may deem it necessary for that state. The number of judges varies from 3 in the Guwahati High Court to 95 in Allahabad High Court. The Punjab and Haryana High Courts has 51 judges, while the Himachal High Court has a Chief Justice and 8 other judges. Now, the qualifications which are required for the judge in the High Court are: he should be a citizen of India. He must have held a judicial office in the territory of India for at least 10 years. He must have been an advocate of a high court or 2 or more such courts in succession for at least 10 years. Method of appointment of the judges of High Court. The President appoints the judges and the Chief Justice of a state High Court. While appointing the Chief Justice, the President consults the Chief Justice of India and the Governor of the state. While appointing other judges, the President consults the Chief Justice of the High Court concerned along with the Chief Justice of India and the Governor of the concerned state. However, their recommendations are not binding upon the President. By a convention, the senior most judge is always promoted as the Chief Justice of a High Court. Now, the method of removal. A judge of a state High Court can be removed by the President on grounds of proven misbehavior and incapacity if each house of the Union Parliament passes this by the 2/3 majority. This resolution of impeachment comes to effect if both the houses passes. Such a resolution has to be passed by each house by a majority of total membership and 2/3 majority of members present and voting. The process of impeachment is regulated by the Judges Inquiry Act 1968. The transfer of judges, they can be transferred by the President from one High Court to another after consultations with the Chief Justice of India. Salaries and allowances they draw from the Consolidated Fund of India, and the tenure of each judge of High Court, including the Chief Justice, they hold office till they attain the age of 62 years. So this is the tenure of the judges. This is about the salaries and emoluments of the judges. Then they draw their salary from Consolidated Fund of India. Now, prohibition and restriction of practice after retirement. They are not allowed to practice after retirement. This is done, they are paid very handsome salaries. The salary, the Chief Justice draws 2,50,000 per month and the judge draws 2,25,000 per month. This is done keeping in mind that there is no such partiality and there is some kind of dignity of the judges and the Chief Justice is maintained. Now let us come to the other part of that is jurisdiction. First, I will explain you the meaning of jurisdiction, children. See, jurisdiction means their area where they can function. They cannot go beyond that. So, there are large number of cases which come under the jurisdiction of High Court. We can divide the jurisdiction of the High Courts into the original, the appellate jurisdiction, and the jurisdiction in criminal cases, then court of record, power of judicial review, power of certifications. So these are the different categories of the jurisdiction or the area of functioning of the High Court. Let us first discuss about the original jurisdiction. The High Courts of Bombay, Calcutta, and Madras, they possess original jurisdiction in civil as well as in criminal cases within these presidencies' towns. They are authorized to hear a civil case involving property of the value of rupees 20,000 or more. This is so exclusive right enjoyed by these three high courts. Then there is some jurisdiction regarding the fundamental rights also. This comes under the original jurisdiction. Appellate jurisdiction means all cases of appeal from the lower courts. This can be divided into civil and criminal cases. Let us first discuss about appellate jurisdiction in civil cases. In a civil case, appeal to the High Court lies from the decision of a district court. An appeal can also be made from the subordinate court directly, provided the dispute involves a value higher than rupees 5,000 or on a question of fact or law. Thus, to a High Court, appeal can be either a first appeal or a second appeal. When a court subordinate to the High Court decides an appeal from the decision of an inferior court, a second appeal can be made to the High Court. Such an appeal is made only on questions of law and procedure. Now, jurisdiction in criminal cases. An appeal to the High Court lies in case the Session Court has awarded the punishment of 4 years or more. All cases involving capital punishment awarded by the Session Court come to High Court as appeals. A death sentence awarded to a criminal by a Session Court can be carried out only if the High Court upholds the decision. Then, in case of fundamental rights, if an individual's fundamental rights are being violated, then that person can directly approach to High Court. In that case, for various writs can be issued. That is done in Supreme Court as well as in High Courts. So what is a writ? It is an order from any judicial authority, whether the Supreme Court or the High Court, to perform or not to perform an act. So these are the various writs which are mentioned. These are habeas corpus, mandamus, writ of prohibition, writ of certiorari, and writ of quo warranto. Now, writ of habeas corpus, this is a Latin word which means if you may have the body. Produce the detained person in the court and explains the ground for his detention or arrest. It involves a remedy against unlawful detention, arrest of any person by any prosecuting authority. It is intended to secure the freedom of unlawfully detained person. Writ of mandamus means we command an order, that is an order of the Supreme Court or a High Court commanding a person or a body to do that which is its duty to do. Usually, It is an order for directing the performance of ministerial acts, that is, an act which a person or body is legally required to perform under given circumstances. By this writ, the court can direct the concerned authority to do his legal duty, and lawfully and duly selected candidate for a job can get such a writ for his appointment from the legally competent authority or person. Writ of prohibition is issued basically for preventing an inferior court from exceeding its jurisdiction or from acting contrary to the rules of natural justice. It can be issued, for example, for preventing any judge from hearing a case in which he is supposed to have a personal interest. This writ is issued by the Supreme Court or a High Court for preventing any magisterial court or commission or tribunal and other officers who are involved in the exercise of judicial powers. Though through such a writ, the superior court can also supervise whether the inferior courts or tribunals have been acting within their jurisdiction or in conformity with the principles of natural justice. Now we'll come to writ of certiorari. It is issued by a superior court for removing a particular case from an inferior court. It can be issued even before a trial for preventing an access or abuse of jurisdiction by an inferior court. The concerned case is then moved to a higher court for trial. Very often, a writ of certiorari is sought along with the writ of prohibition for preventing the performance of an invalid act as well as for restraining the operations. Writ of quo warranto. It is a very ancient writ, has been in use since long in the common law process. It literally means what is the title to authority. The Supreme Court or the High Court can issue this writ for granting an injunction to restrain a person from acting in an office to which he is not entitled. In this, it can also be used for declaring an office to be vacant. While issuing the writ of quo warranto, the court has to ascertain whether there has been a usurpation of an office of a public nature. By a demand for such a writ, a citizen can question the authority of a particular public office of the state. The purpose of all the writs behind this is to enable the Supreme Court and the High Courts to perform their role as guardian and the protectors of the fundamental rights of the citizens. Then, High Court is also advisory jurisdiction, that is, any government department, legislature, or governor may refer and send a case of special importance to High Court, which has a substantial question of law. So in this sphere, it acts as advisory jurisdiction. Then revisory. High Court is empowered to review any judgment or order which is given by the subordinate inferior court with a view of removing any mistake. If some error has taken place by the lower courts, subordinate courts, then High Court acts as revisory jurisdiction. Judicial review is a very special power of both the Supreme Court as well as of the High Court. In this sphere, the High Court has a power to review the laws passed by the state legislatures or any other local authorities if they are not in accordance to the Constitution. Those laws will be declared as null and void or ultra vires. This is the power of judicial review of the High Court. Then High Court is also a court of record, means all its judgments, decisions are recorded so that they act as precedent. If a similar case comes under the subordinate courts, then the similar decision is given. Then there are subordinate courts. There are three kinds of subordinate courts in India. They are the civil courts, criminal courts, and courts of revenue. So Very briefly, I will explain you about that. The courts of district judge. This is the highest civil court in the district. The court of district judge. Let me tell you, there is one district judge when he's dealing with the civil cases is known as a district judge. Similar judge when he's dealing with the criminal cases, he is known as the session judge. There is a session court also, which is the highest criminal court. So you must know that the highest civil court is the district and the highest criminal court is the session court. Then in civil courts, it is presided by the district judge and the criminal court is presided by the session judge. Then there are Lok Adalats also. Lok Adalats are the people's court. They have been there in India so that the small petty cases can be solved here. Lok Adalats have been doing good work in helping the people to get their disputes settled in a speedier, efficient and less expensive way. These have played very important role, commendable role in lessening the burden of the judicial system as well as in making the judicial system less expensive. The poor and downtrodden people can depend upon the Lok Adalat system for getting some of their litigation cases settled, which means getting freedom from court botherations, appeals, reappeals in higher courts. So they have been very useful for poor people because Lok Adalat is neither very formal nor it is rigid. So this is how the Lok Adalats functions in India. Then for following type of cases can be taken to Lok Adalats, like accident causes involving the issue of compensation, cases relating to marriage and divorce, compensation cases in labor disputes, insurance compensation cases, and also the loan cases. So all these cases can go to the Lok Adalats, can be solved without any delays which is caused in the other courts. So there are the advantages of Lok Adalats. Both the parties, they feel satisfied because mostly the decision is taken through compensation compromise of both the parties. This was all about the High Court and the subordinate courts. Thank you, children.